Plentiful is a unique combination of puzzles, resource management, environmental simulation, and hex stacking wrapped in a cute voxel bow? Just what is going on here? My name is Thoraxe, and this is Strategy for Busy People. If you've got a few minutes, I'll tell you what to play. Now, in some ways, you might say that this review of Plentiful by Gabber Games is a sponsored one, but only in the sense that the developer of the game reached out to me directly and asked me to review it. So, in a first here on Strategy for Busy People, I'm actually reviewing a game directly for the developer, and I put just under 2 hours into this demo. Now, a few of you might know me in real life and know that I am not bashful about sharing my opinions. So I'm not going to take this game lightly just because the developer contacted me. At first glance, you might look at the strange stacked hex blocks and Minecraftian-ish graphics and immediately dismiss it as some kind of bizarre Minecraft clone, and you would immediately be wrong. Well, I haven't personally played Minecraft, but I'm still pretty sure you'd be wrong. Fundamentally, Plentiful is a game about providing for your humans in a dynamic environment and nudging things along so that they can thrive. You have a finite number of resources, and as the quote-unquote god of the game, you can spend those resources to either move hexes around or to drop things into the play area. This game has many dynamic features regarding moving the hexes. Water is simulated in certain ways, and when the rain comes or the snow melts, the water follows a path seeking the lowest level to fill lakes and pools. There are gold blocks that you can encounter that can only be dragged in certain ways and have certain properties like apparently melting snow. There are both sand and mud tiles that react to nearby water to become fertile, allowing some of the plants you can plant to grow and thrive. Constructing small caves out of piled stones gives your humans shelter where they can escape the elements or reproduce, the latter of which is pretty important, and we'll get to it in a minute. Stone also provides a faster walking path for your inhabitants to reach the resources that they want to reach. The game simulates all 4 seasons like on Earth, and each season has different properties with respect to resource management. Certain trees only drop fruit in specific seasons, and certain vegetables can only grow during certain seasons. Vegetables need to be replanted. There are also a few different types of wildlife that you can nurture, but in a funny-ish kind of way, you have to convert wildlife to food by smashing it with hexes so that your inhabitants can eat it. Placing inhabitants has a cost associated with it, but well-cared-for inhabitants can reproduce. Now, my first complaint is that a single human can have a baby without another human, which isn't exactly realistic. But I guess that the real act of baby making was out of scope for the game, and I'll give it a partial pass on that one. Anyway, your humans have a life meter, and then they have 3 food meters to correspond to the 3 different food types: fruit, plants/vegetables, and meat. As long as your humans have at least one of these resources around, they don't lose health and die. If you don't assure sufficient resources for them, though, they run out of health and, die. The game is in a demo state right now, which is quite playable, and I don't think I noticed any real crashes. The graphical performance is alright at 4K resolution with my 3080 GTX, but it isn't exactly perfect. That's not the point here. This is an early demo of a work in progress, so some credit is due for the state and quality of the graphics, lighting, and effects. Now, there are several missions associated with the demo, and a couple of them are very puzzle-like in that you have to manipulate the environment to help some existing humans pick up some pre-existing resources in the world. The one you'll spend the most time on, though, is the one where you have to raise 15 humans. The key to the game is learning how to manage resources effectively across the different seasons and helping your humans be distributed in the environment widely enough so that they don't crowd each other out by overeating all of the resources in an area, but not spreading them so widely that they die on the way to consuming resources. I'm not a huge fan of puzzle games, so I was not particularly a fan of those scenarios, but I do understand how some of them help teach you the mechanics of the game. I thought some of the natural disasters were interesting, like how a meteor struck and then set a whole area on fire. Thankfully, it wasn't near where any of my inhabitants were, but that could have been a real bad day if that was the case. I mentioned some strange user experience issues to the developer, like how you can end up with something not planted underground that then ends up floating in the air, but you can't take it back. Overall, though, the experience was quite pleasant, and the developer was receptive to my direct feedback. Before I give my final verdict, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to share it with your friends. Agree with me, disagree with me, or want to see other content? Let me know in the comments below. Want to try this game yourself? Check out my humble affiliate link below. And if you want to support me in making more of these videos, become a patron on Patreon. Your support really makes a difference. The final verdict. Plentiful is a unique take on the quote-unquote God game genre with some fun mechanics and a semi-directed set of scenarios that still serves as a fun sandbox. You could probably build quite a huge environment just by continuing to play after the end of some of the scenarios, and I can see how it might be fun to really explore the different mechanics like the animals and their specialty foods. On my trademarked 3-point score scale of avoid, meh, and I forgot to eat, there was plenty of fruit and plenty of veggies, and I even smashed a rabbit or 4. The game was an enjoyable experience, and I encourage you to check it out, if only for the experience of trying something really different. It will be very interesting to see how development progresses on this title through 2025, and to see what new scenarios or mechanics come along. But for now, with the demo complete, it was time to make some real rabbit.